Hello everyone, and welcome to this hand discussion video, Archie Who. Compared to the games we've covered previously, and those that normally appear in the rotation, Triple Draw High-Low Double Qualifier is one of the newest games to enter the mix. For those new to the game, Triple Draw High-Low is a split putt game where you need an 8 or better for the low. The Double Qualifier part means there is also a high qualifier of a pair of 9s or better. The reason this game is nicknamed Archie is twofold. Firstly, Triple Draw High-Low Double Qualifier is a little bit of a mouthful, and secondly, there are several different stories, but supposedly this game was either invented or preferred to be played by a guy in Arizona named Archie. Although these upcoming hands are a very small sample size, at these limits you'll often see hands go 3, 4 and even 5-handed quite often, and consequently the putt sizes will swell, so a solid strategy of drawing to the scoop, like in most split putt games, is the ideal strategy. We have 4 hands to discuss in total, so let's jump right in.
It's an 8 or better for low and a pair of 9s or better for high.
The first hand comes from the 8-16 game at the Wynn, and sees an under the gun raise to $16 and we're next to act with a gut shot to a 6 high straight.
Archie? We all have fun. Archie.
These low draws with high potential are the best hands to be dealt in Archie, and a raise here wouldn't be uncalled for. However, when I'm playing this game, I like to try and get involved in big putts, so in early position, I like to call and hope people call behind. If I was dealt something like this on the button, I might raise it up knowing players already have bets committed. So in this hand, I flat call behind as the small blind comes along also and draws 3, as the original raiser draws 1, as do we. Fortunately, I bink my gin card straight away and bet out $8 after it's checked to me. Both players call and they each draw 1 as we stand pat. Again, the action goes check check to me and I bet out $16 as both players call and again draw 1. The final street now sees a small blind lead out for $16 and the original raiser folds. There is literally only 2 hands that we get scooped by, so it's a fairly simple raise, hoping that he let out with a 7 low or maybe trips and we can scoop him. So we raise and the small blind calls and tables a flush to see us chop the pot.
6 high straight, 6 low straight.
That makes me feel better too. I had the spade royal flush draw.
For this hand we head over to Caesars Palace, and following 3 limps beginning in the hijack, we look down at trip 8s in the small blind and decide to raise. This is the hand I see played with the most variance from individual to individual. Some players play it hard and fast, while others like to play it very passively until they improve. Get a call from the big blind and the 3 limpers, and draw 2 as the big blind draws 2 also. The hijack draws 3 and the cutoff and button draw 1 apiece. I was once told that with trips you should draw 2 at the beginning and then 1 thereafter. I have no idea if this is correct strategy, but it's something I adopted when I first started playing Archie. I bet out and everyone calls, and without improving, I now decide to keep the queen since I've already seen 2 10s, as everyone draws 1 card also.
One, two, two, one, one.
I peel the ace of diamonds and opt to check now, and everyone checks behind as we all draw 1 again. I now squeeze out a deuce to have my dealt trip 8s remain as trip 8s. I could easily try and value bet here, but with the no qualifier aspect, there tends to be more bluffing than usual in this game when people miss their draws. So I check, as does the big blind, before the hijack bets. The cutoff calls, the button folds, and then I make the call as the big blind folds. The cutoff shows a 7 low, and I table my trips, as the hijack states he was bluffing after making a switch from chasing the high to chasing the low. Another chop pot, but we'll take it.
Which one did you want us to fold? Yeah, okay.
Or, you know, somebody just said, I didn't believe it.
Now we return back to the win and are dealt another gut shot to a 6 high straight. The cutoff limps in and we raise the button to try and build the pot. Both the blinds call and draw 2, as the cutoff calls and draws 3, as we take just 1. Like in hand 1, we get some run good and bink the gut shot straight away and bet out once everyone checks to us. The small blind calls and the big blind raises. The cutoff folds and we make it 3 bets and $24 to go, as the small blind drops out before the big blind calls. In hindsight, I think it was a small mistake making it 3 bets to go, as we should have tried to keep the small blind in for that 1 extra bet while simultaneously under-repping our hand as maybe a weak 8 or 7 low. However, the big blind draws 1 and we stand pat before he check calls a bet of $16 and draws 1 again. The final street sees the big blind check, we bet $16 and he calls. We table our 6 high straight for the high and low and scoop the near $200 pot.
I said lad. That's what it said. Oh, that's in England. Australia. What did Australia say?
We say a lot of bad things.
Lad. You say lad, right?
Lad, yeah, mate.
Mate. Yeah, mate. That's what. That's Australia. Nobody said mate except the goddamn.
Final hand sees us return to Caesars Palace and we are dealt 3 to a 6 smooth in the big blind. The player under the gun raises to $12 and is called by a player next to act as well as the small blind. We climb along with our one-way hand and draw 2 after the small blind draws 3. The raiser draws 1 and the player in middle position takes 2.
Was the reason I'm addicted to Shamrock Shakes. My brother saw something this year, like they came out with 3 new flavors. He texted me, he's like, you and Mom would try them all. I'm like, hell yeah. Whoa. One of these is my new one. Of these is my new one. Yeah. That should be, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
That's right.
checking. Sorry about that, yeah.
That's okay.
I improve my draw and decide to lead out with a bet to try and gather some more information if I get raised. Everyone calls and only my draw improves as I find another pair and this time opt to check.
1, 2.
The initial raiser bets out $12 and is called by the player on her left before the small blind folds, and we call and draw 1 as the better stands pat and the third player draws 1 also. We squeeze out a 4 to make a 6 low and check as the under the gun player bets $12. The middle position player thinks for a little and then raises as we now enter the tank. I contemplated raising here, but our hand really isn't strong enough to do that as there are still a few hands that beat us for the low and we have no high unless no one qualifies. Our hand is also too strong to straight up fold unless we have a monster read on one of the players, so consequently we call, as does the initial better. The raiser shows a straight 6 and we pip him for the low as the original better has a 7 low and relinquishes her hand as I chop a near $200 pot once again.
Yeah, I did it
Been a
wrong.
7 low and I almost didn't bet it. Nice hands.
You almost didn't bet it?
I almost didn't bet it on the river. I'm like, I'm just gonna check.
So there we go with the Archie Who video on triple draw high-low double qualifier. There was some obvious run good in this video, and even with making these monster two-way hands, we can still find chops. The one thing to remember is that Archie does tend to play multi-way, and the pots seem to swell, so some small adjustments to starting hands need to be made so that you can attempt to scoop the entire pot and not have too many tough decisions with hands like 2 pair or rough 7 lows. I hope you enjoyed this hand discussion video on triple draw high-low, or Archie as it has become known. With the 2017 World Series of Poker set to start in the next few days, this will be the last hand discussion video for a little while, as I focus on working the series for Poker News while mixing in some playing time amongst daddy duty. I'm hoping to release some behind the scenes vlogs over the next few weeks, so make sure to stay tuned. And as always, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like and share the videos, and leave any questions or comments down below. Until next time, good luck out there.